Good morning, everyone. It's Kinninigan. Well, the Epstein story isn't going away, and I don't know what I called this video yet. I usually don't come up with a video title until I'm uploading my video, but I have a pretty damn good idea, and I already know what should be in the title. So we're going to take a different approach. You're on my channel because I cover things that most people won't. And in my defense, although I really don't have to defend myself against shit. Um, I can care less what Luciferians or members of secret societies think about me. But when it comes to Babylonian Talmud, uh, the reason I know about it is because Babylon, the Alpha Draconian Reptilians founded Babylon. And the 72 Pharisees who wrote Babylonian Talmud are the 72 demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon. So yeah, this is why I know so much about it. This is how they actually rule the world, specifically through their secret societies. And the same rules that apply in secret societies for their members um, are basically what's written in Babylonian Talmud for the Goy on how they're supposed to treat the Goyim. You just replace Goy with Freemason or Rosicrucian or whatever fucking member they're a secret society of, and replace Goyim with the profane, which is what they call non-Freemason, like us Roman Catholics like myself. And the other reason why always want to know what was in Babylonian Talmud is because these are the 72 Pharisees who crucified my Messiah, known as Jesus Christ. Now, the whole point of secret societies, their purpose on this planet, is to usher in the Antichrist. And two, there's another important thing here. You follow what is called mystery religions and secret societies, meaning we're not supposed to know about what you're doing behind those lodge doors, but we do. And here we are. And now there's all kinds of fucking mudslinging about Epstein. I need you, forget about Trump, forget about Pam Bondi, because this has been going on for thousands of years. Like I said in the video the other day, if nothing is done about this, 100 years from now, it'll be a new fucking Epstein list with a new bunch of humans on there. Nothing new under the sun. Except for the fact that you just have a problem on your hands. And the problem is, not only by the acts that you engaged in on Epstein Island are bad in the eyes of God, obviously, you broke your own rules as per Lucifer and the Reptilians and the 72 demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon. So there's a quote in the Emerald Tablets: wisdom is power, and power is wisdom, one with each other, perfecting the whole. And this is kind of my shield. This is why I don't bow down to members of secret societies, because I call out their bullshit left and right. And one of those rules you broke with the acts of pedophilia you engaged in, because we're actually going to take a look at Babylonian Talmud. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing this on YouTube. Please share, like, subscribe. You're about to get a little lesson here. I'm going to put this down to, all right, that size. This is a documentary that is on my Odyssey channel. This documentary was produced, I believe, in the 80s, of all things. And I found it many years ago. I'll give you a link to this documentary if you want to watch it. It's called Babylonian Talmud and Zionist Conspiracy. And yes, according to the demons, or the Pharisees who crucified Jesus, pedophilia is allowed. But it's only allowed with children up to 3 years old of age. This is Prince Andrew and Virginia Goffrey, the one who recently committed suicide, and Ghislaine Maxwell. And guess what? She looks older than 3 years old. And the whole reason why, and the thinking behind this from a Luciferian standpoint, is like I said, these teachings were supposed to be a secret. And in their fucked up reptilian way of thinking, children under 3 years old cannot remember the experience of being sexually molested. What do we have now? We have whistleblowers like Virginia, and sadly she took her own life. You're not supposed to have those. Meaning that once, in a fucked up way that this sounds, once you started having sex with boys and girls over 3 years old, you broke the rules of Babylonian Talmud. Meaning, you're not right in the eyes of Lucifer or God right now. You're in fucking limbo. And, well, you're definitely going to hell. There's no, but anyone, so yeah, this is why you're at my YouTube channel. And I'm noticing, as a side note, please share, like, subscribe. I don't monetize my videos. Let me just reload my YouTube feed here. There's something, obviously you're going to see every time I reload my feed. Yeah, shit about Epstein is popping up. I even tried to watch other videos the other day. By the way, YouTube rolled out a new algorithm recently. I'll talk about that in another video. Yeah. Secondly, if I have to see one more big content creator, it's not on any of these examples, but mainly that Jewish guy Benny. Go hire a real fucking artist to do your thumbnails. If I have to see one more AI generated thumbnail with someone like somebody gets home with fake AI tears coming out of their fucking eyes, like, please, man, this AI generated thumbnail artwork, a lot of it looks like shit. It's pathetic looking. I mean, especially if you got 1 million subs on YouTube, stop being cheap and go hire some artists to do real thumbnails for you. I could recommend a few, but they don't work for. Yeah, a lot of my subs, I got quite a few talented subs. In fact, I have artwork here from subs that was given to me in different subs. My YouTube thumbnail, the Not a Reptilian one, was actually drawn by the same girl I hired to play Lacerda in the Lacerda files. She made that for me, and I paid her for that. So yes, if I could do it, you can. Well, that's back when I had 60,000 subs on my first Kinninigan channel before they took me down. So yeah, we're gonna watch this little clip from the Babylonian Talmud documentary, and I'm going to prove to you that these pedophiles on Epstein Island, they're not right in the eyes of the Pharisees who wrote this, and you broke your own fucking rules. Uh, the other one is we shouldn't even know what's going on in quote unquote secret societies, but we do. I got a new word for members of secret societies in the deep state, and I'm going to do that in another video. I'm not calling you that anymore. In fact, I was going to call you the Whores of Babylon, but I got a feeling that's probably the name of a heavy metal band already somewhere, and they'll probably try to get me for copyright. Yeah, Whores of Babylon. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the name of a heavy metal band already. So we're gonna have to go something along the lines of the parasitic elite, because you are a bunch of fucking parasites to human civilization. You do nothing redeeming for human civilization, and now you're even breaking the rules of your own occult text. So yeah, let's see what Babylonian Talmud says about pedophilia. Okay, yeah, strap in. You're not going to get this from any other content creator on this platform. I promise you that. And if you want to watch this whole documentary, link will be in my description. You can watch it on Odyssey ad free. So if you can support my channel, I do not put ads in my videos because we're not advertiser friendly with Google. I don't think Babylonian Talmud is advertiser friendly. Just saying. So how many other people out there are telling you in a screwed up way that, yeah, you had sex with children over 3 years old. You broke your own fucking rules according to your own reptilian rulers that you worship from Babylon. Yeah. I gotta take a hit of, I do have weed, thank God, because I hate talking about pedophilia. It makes me angry. By the way, black magicians absolutely despise marijuana. I have an occult text that I actually own that was given to me, written by Gerald Gardner, the godfather of Wicca. That book is for sale if you want to buy it from me. It's a rare book. I was thinking about selling it because I need a new computer, and that book that I have is worth quite a bit of money. Try a couple $1,000s. And in that book, Aleister Crowley even taught this, that drug use was okay during occult ritual. It was actually promoted, such as heroin, cocaine, amphetamines. The Nazis did a lot of meth, and and they did a lot of occult rituals. But as a side note, as far as I know, the Nazi occultists weren't even having sex with their own children, because the whole belief of the Nazi way of thinking was they wanted to provide a future for German children to rule the world as the master race, and they weren't sacrificing them to Molech, and they weren't engaging in pedophilia. But also on the other side of the spectrum, yeah, in theory, the Nazis also had a big problem with Jewish occult text, obviously. And the Nazis did have their own secret societies. Um, did they sacrifice humans in it? Maybe, but I don't think. I don't know. We're not going to go get. But the point being is, I don't even think they were sacrificing or engaging in pedophilia on that kind of. Not with German children, at least. I'll tell you that for a fact. They were trying to repopulate the world with German children as the master race, and one of the plans. Let me tell you what the end game is for what's really going on here. This is all about ushering in the Antichrist, and they're not even living up to that because, like I said, we shouldn't even be knowing about this shit. That's why they were called "quote unquote" secret societies for years, obviously. Now, as a side note, I'm also going to give you another link, okay? Because if you want to learn Jewish mysticism and the kind that doesn't actually involve pedophilia, the one that just involves around the Kabbalah, I can give you a link for that. This is a link I use, Academy for Ancient Texts. It's got a lot of good ancient texts on here, including the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I was using it for the Mesopotamian links here. The Code of Hammurabi. Those are the 300 slave laws that we live under. That's another video subject. The 7 Evils, the Epic of Gilgamesh. And I'll give you a link to this. This is a Jewish text, occult text known as the Sefer Yetzirah. My Hebrew isn't that good. And this is basically a breakdown of all the Kabbalistic teachings. There's nothing in here about pedophilia. But what I do find interesting is they make a reference to the Greek god of chaos in here, which is very interesting. Because I tell you nothing new under the sun, and everything roots back to Babylon, basically. And I find it very interesting that a Jewish text is using a Greek primordial deity in their own teachings. And in this text, they refer to God as El, right here. God is Al-El. El is the planet Saturn, or the Ajiji reptilian god known as Enlil. So, according to your own Kabbalistic text, it proves that reptilians brought the Kabbalah to Babylon, and you're worshiping reptilians. And the reptilians also gave you Babylonian Talmud, in which they, and if you watch this whole documentary, you'll actually, it might actually make you a believer in Jesus Christ, because they're going to admit to you in this documentary, yeah, Jesus was real. We knew he was the Son of the God. He was a threat to our existence, and we used gossip and magic to crucify him. And what I'm noticing on YouTube right now is a lot of Freemason content creators. I have all the fucking Freemason content creators on YouTube figured out already. I'm not going to make a video exposing them because why? Like, they're already making more money than I am on YouTube, which is why I made a comment about them using their fucking AI generated thumbnail images where, like, someone gets owned with fake teardrops coming out of their eyes. Yeah, if I have to see one more thumbnail like that show up in my feed, go hire a real artist. Oh, that's right. Luciferians are not creative. They can't create new things, only destroy. So what does Babylonian Talmud say about pedophilia? Let's find out right now.
Right of the Pharisee to kill anyone, just as long as he did so indirectly. As one of dozens of examples, the Talmud tells us that if one bound his neighbor and he died of starvation, he is not liable to
I
execution.
put the video back a little
In
bit
such an
so you can...
indirect manner,
Hold
the
on.
Pharisees also killed Christ. Manipulating the Romans to actually wield the spear and sword, the Pharisees claimed, as their descendants do today, that since the Romans were the direct cause of the death of Christ...
This is a very important fact that I want you to know about, because I'm not anti-Semitic, okay? But the Pharisees, as per what they just admitted right there, framed the Romans and the Jews for crucifying Jesus when it was actually the Pharisees who did it. And this was to cause chaos. Again, going back to that word. To cause division between Jewish people, the Romans, and to eventually have everyone despise the Jewish people and blame them for crucifying Jesus for being the false Messiah, when it was actually, in fact, the Pharisees who did it. And they did it with magic and gossip, and they admit that. And magic is real, okay? This text right here is the foundation for Kabbalistic black magic. So don't join the Freemason. You don't need to. I'll give you a link to this also. You want to learn about real Jewish mysticism. I'll give you a link for it.
Christ, it is the Romans, not the Jews, who are guilty. Christ also called the Pharisees adulterers, an adulterous generation. The Talmud provides generous loopholes for adultery. It says the penalty for adultery does not include sex with a minor, the wife of a minor, or the wife of a heathen. The Talmud also encourages seduction of unwed adolescent girls called designated bondmaids. But it's important how such rapes are performed. With the designated
Yeah, you hear that?
bondmaid,
There's
one is
rules
guilty
for
only in the case of natural connection, but not in the case of perverse connection. The Pharisees reasoned that rape in a perverted manner is outside the jurisdiction of the law. Normal rape, however, was punishable.
Now, when I said, I'm pausing here for context over this, okay, because I'm also educating you on a few things. Perfect example right here is the P. Diddy case that just happened, and they pulled that fucking charade of firing James Comey's daughter. She was the lead prosecutor on the case. It's all bullshit. P. Diddy walked because, as you just heard, they're not allowed to convict each other for crimes, including, and P. Diddy was engaging in pedophilia. One of the victims was Justin Bieber when he was like 12 years old, was going to those freak off parties. So that was all bullshit. That's why he got away with basically a slap on the wrist, because they can't convict each other of rape with and yeah, and like I said, no, this is how these secret societies and Luciferians operate. They have rules that demons actually do have rules that they have to follow. One of them being that they cannot come in your house unless they're invited. Yeah, there's some truth to that. That's not just vampire lore. When you sign up to become a member of a secret society like the Freemason, two Freemason will come to your house and knock on your door. You have to invite them in. Yeah, the more you know. And you do it, and they will ask you if you're inviting them in under your own free will, because demons cannot violate your free will. However, in the case of pedophilia, these people unfortunately are violating the quote unquote free will of their victims. This might be another fucked up way of thinking of why they say, and here, let me just let this play out and you'll hear the rest of it, and then I'll explain what's going on here.
In Babylon, sexual perversion of every kind had been a way of life for millenniums. The Pharisees were
That's
deeply
Ishtar right
influenced
there.
by such practices.
In 3 of the major treatises of the Talmud are found extensive passages which give legal endorsement to seduce and marry 3-year-old baby girls.
Little context on this documentary. This is the guy who figured it all out right here. And what he did, he got access to a Jewish synagogue, and because they're not always like, what he did was basically have access to a Jewish library in a synagogue. And he used a Jewish encyclopedia in conjunction with the Babylonian Talmud to figure out what was actually being said in there. I've had lots of people, shills, obviously. One of them was even so fucking pathetic recently, about a few months ago. One of them tried accusing me of Babylonian Talmud being some QAnon shit. Yeah, you're at the wrong fucking channel. You want to start saying stupid shit like that to me. QAnon. The Talmud's just a QAnon conspiracy. Yeah, whatever. I'll show you what Zion. This has been going on for thousands of years. Back to the times of Jesus. So get out of here with this. It's that sounds like something stupid a pedophile would say to defend their actions. Just saying. Lying is one of the 10 Commandments I don't break. Okay, so I took a vow to serve Jesus, and I'm not breaking the 10 Commandments for anyone. Okay, so I also feel that if I don't tell people what I know, that's kind of being selfish because people want to learn and they don't want to be lied to. They're sick of being lied to. So let's go on
In
here.
fact, many of the greatest rabbis of the Talmud, including Simeon ben Yochai, upheld this privilege. Today in Israel, thousands of Jews go to Meron every year to venerate the memory of Simeon ben Yochai, one of the most respected rabbis in the history of Judaism.
In one of dozens of endorsements of child sex, Simeon ben Yochai said, "A proselyte under the age of 3 years and a day is permitted to marry a priest." Agreeing with ben Yochai, the great Rabbah said, "When a grown-up man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing, for when the girl is less than this, 3 years and a day, it is as if one put the finger into the eye." The footnote to this passage says, "As tears come to the eye again and again, so does virginity come back to the little girl under 3 years." The same section confirms that sexual activity with small boys is in the same category. The intercourse of a small boy is not regarded as a sexual act. In addition to adulterers, Christ, in the story of the Good Samaritan, portrayed the Pharisees as racial bigots, too self-righteous to respond to the suffering of one who was not a Jew.
Yeah, and we'll leave it there. And this is obviously the Canaanite god Molech being offered a child sacrifice. Those sacrifices were supposed to be under 3 years of age. And as you just heard, according to Babylonian Talmud, they are not supposed to have pedophilia with children over 3 years of age. Because, one, they won't remember the experience. So you don't have them popping up years later on YouTube as a quote-unquote Epstein Island whistleblower. And I believe this also has to do something with violation of free will, according to demonic law, because children under 3, their brain isn't developed yet. Maybe you don't develop free will until you're a certain age, possibly. Finding out information on this is very difficult because where do you find it? Yeah, who do you actually go to debate the subject of can you rape kids under 3 years old because they haven't developed free will yet? Is that yeah? These aren't topics that you have discussions with most people with, which is why I'm glad I have my YouTube channel because I'm blessed enough I can get on a microphone and talk about this stuff, and I have people that want to hear what I have to say or learn the truth with me. So. Yeah, I just told you right there. They violated the rules of the reptilians, the Pharisees, the demons, Lucifer, and God. So you're in fucking limbo right now. You can go take your excuses, go shove them up your ass, because no one can defend you on this. And by the way, the reptilians could give two shits about humans anyway. Yeah, they probably, and I've said this many times. I honestly believe that the reptilians themselves would probably have less respect for humans that are in their secret societies because you sold out your own race to serve them, and they couldn't give two shits about you. They're just using you to push their agenda. And now we have too many people on planet Earth. They can't control us all. So it's time for another quote-unquote depopulation event, right? And this has been going on, a recurring theme over thousands of years. And it's always something else that comes up, it seems, that the reptilians get pissed off about and say humans shouldn't be learning this. And now we're at the road now where it seems to be pedophilia is and this is the hill they want to die on. So yeah, in a screwed up way, I just proved it to you. They're not supposed to be having sex with children, or boys or girls over 3 years of age. Period. So they could justify their actions. Their main goal is to be ushering in the Antichrist and finding the 72 syllable lost word of God, not making fucking videos on YouTube with your bullshit ass AI generated thumbnails, or having other Freemason politicians on your YouTube channel. Yeah, I know who all the fucking Masons are on this platform. They're the ones slinging mud right now. A lot of it's clickbait bullshit. Look, I understand the YouTube game. I understand quote unquote clickbait. Not. I've made thousands of videos over the years on YouTube. I'd be guilty of the same thing in some instances, but usually I like to think my content's pretty good. That's why I'm doing this. I don't want to be just another fucking video talking about the same shit that 1,000 other content creators are talking about. I'm a step above them. And none of them are going to show you that fact right there. So, yeah, you just heard it. Let them try to defend their actions. They can't. So, yeah. Remember, Sodom and Gomorrah? Yeah. That's, because, like I said, the victims, she looks a little bit over 3 years old. Just saying. So they're not even following their own fucking Babylonian teachings. It's as fucked up as that is. Oh my god, trying to justify well, like I said, these aren't easy subjects to deal with. I can do it, and so if you could support the channel, I would appreciate it. Anyway, you can support the channel. All the links are in the description. I'd like to thank one of my subs. It should be arriving today. Someone sent me some cat food for the cats. She ordered us some cat food, so I'm happy to say we do have cat food and catnip coming today. So thanks for the support. I appreciate it. My cats do. Yeah, so there you go. I'll give you a link to this Babylonian Talmud conspiracy if you want to watch it. It's on my Odyssey channel. I can't put this on YouTube. Gets really interesting. When you get to the part of why they actually crucified Jesus, then things get really interesting. And then you'll also learn about why we're in Ukraine right now. Yeah, that has something to do with the Ashkenazi Jews in the Soviet Union. The more you know. We're actually, yeah, why did Trump do a 180 and want to fund Nazis now? Because that's who the fuck is, yeah, we're getting in, I can call out their bullshit all day. It doesn't fucking, but they broke their own rules. Um, and from what they teach you in Talmud, especially when it comes to crucifying Jesus, is they view Christianity as more of a threat to their existence than those of the pagans. And the Roman definition of pagan are people who worship a pantheon of gods, obviously, polytheism, and engage in animal and human sacrifices to the gods and goddesses. So, and it wasn't until Christianity came along and what Jesus was teaching that the reptilians in Babylon actually saw something as a threat to their existence. Because if you're engaging in animal and human sacrifices and worshiping a pantheon of gods, you're more or less worshiping the reptilians themselves. Marduk is known as the reptilian god with 50 different names. There's a reason why. One of those names is Baal. Baal. Yeah, it's a recurring name in Jewish mysticism. Nothing new under the sun. The reptilians just renamed themselves. Ishtar also renamed herself Lucifer. Yeah, the more you know. I told you I had another video I was doing about Tartarus. I'll do that video. It involves the Antichrist of all things. We're gonna have to talk about how Tartarus was created. It was created when the fallen angels fell from heaven, went past hell, collided with the abyss, and in that collision of the abyss is when Tartarus was formed. I only had to become an expert on these subjects because this is all the shit that reptilians brought to this planet. And quite honestly, I think it's a lot harder to be a fucking Luciferian and read all this occult text and learn all this stupid shit, whether it's how to actually do black magic rituals, than just be a fucking disciple of Jesus Christ. You don't need any fancy candles or anointing oils or pentagrams on the fucking ground or sacrifices to Molech to serve Jesus. Whenever two or more people gather in his name, he is there. We all know that. So screw your reptilian gods and the demons you worship. And you're breaking all the rules now because God doesn't promote pedophilia at all. The Pharisees told you not to have sex with children over 3 years old, and you did. And yeah, so how are you going to defend? Yeah, like I said, if anyone's pissed off at the Epstein list, it's probably the fucking Illuminati themselves. And that's all. By the way, reptilians are androgynous, so they don't engage in sexual acts, and they hate that human emotion of love also. They absolutely despise it. This is why they want to keep us all divided. They can't have 8 billion people on Earth all getting along and not blowing each other up with fucking missiles and wanting to nuke each other. That's the last thing. Because once that happens, their fucking their power dwindles. Secret societies would disappear. And now, this is secret societies. You brought this on your fucking selves. Like I said, pedophilia is not fucking endorsed with children over 3 years old, and you broke the rules, according to the Pharisees, who helped you to crucify Jesus of all things. But yous are so much better because yous are rich now because of the money you stole off people like us. Money, sex, and power is the main reasons why people turn to the occult. Any one of us listening to this could be a multimillionaire if we sold our soul to fucking Lucifer. We all know that, but we refuse to do it. These people did, and they didn't even follow their own fucked up demonic rules when they did. I don't even know if they're going to burn in hell. Who knows? Maybe if you broke these rules, maybe you might go to Tartarus. Tartarus is a worse place to go in the afterlife than even hell. So, enjoy your short human life while it lasts. Because now you're wrong in the eyes of reptilians, Lucifer, and God. Anyway, how you like that take on the Epstein list? You're not going to get that anywhere else on YouTube. Any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you could support the channel, all the links are in the description. Take care, and God bless.